The scent of lavender and vanilla filled my workshop as I carefully poured the soap mixture into wooden molds. Another batch of Midnight Dreams, my best seller. The peaceful moment lasted exactly 3 seconds before my phone buzzed with my sister's familiar ringtone. I'm Nicole, and I've spent the last 3 years building my artisanal soap company from scratch while raising my son alone. My sister Claire, however, would probably describe me as that crafty girl who makes bathroom products in her garage. Nicole, you're coming to dinner tonight, right? Claire's voice carried that familiar note of authority that made me want to hang up immediately. Mom's been asking, and you know how she gets when you skip family dinners. I'll be there, I said, adjusting my phone while measuring essential oils. Jace and I just need to finish up some orders first. Still playing with your little soap hobby? You know, there's always a position at Clarity if you want a real job. My jaw clenched. 3 years of building my business, and she still called it a hobby. My little soap hobby just landed a contract with 4 boutique hotels, Claire. Oh, that's nice, she said, in that tone that suggested it was anything but. Anyway, dinner's at 7. Don't be late like last time. I hung up and turned to find my 10-year-old son, Jace, standing in the doorway. Mom, was that Aunt Claire being mean again? No, sweetie, I lied, forcing a smile. Just dinner plans. Want to help me package these orders? 2 hours later, we arrived at my mother's house, the familiar colonial-style home where Claire and I grew up. My best friend Lindsay's words from earlier echoed in my head. Hold your head high, girl. Your sister might own 5 cafes, but she doesn't own you. The moment we stepped inside, Claire's voice dominated the space. And then the food critic from the Times said Clarity's new location is revolutionizing the cafe scene. She sat at the dining table, holding court with Mom, her husband Julian, and her daughter Brianna, who looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. Nicole. Mom rushed to hug me, then immediately fussed with my hair. Honey, you look tired. Are you sleeping enough? I'm fine, Mom. Business is actually going really. Did you hear about Claire's new feature in Business Weekly? Mom interrupted, beaming at my sister. They're calling her the Queen of Coffee Culture. Claire smiled that perfect smile that made me want to throw soap in her face. It's nothing really. Though Nicole, speaking of business, how many bars of soap do you need to sell to match 1 day of my cafe's revenue? The table fell silent. Even Julian looked uncomfortable. Mom, Brianna spoke up. Aunt Nicole's soaps are amazing. My friends at school love them. I shot my niece a grateful smile, but Claire wasn't finished. Sweetie, there's a difference between a cute little side business and a real enterprise. Nicole needs to understand that not everyone is cut out for serious success. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from Ray O'Connor. The message made my heart race. Deal's ready. Time to show Big Sister what serious success looks like. I looked up at Claire's smug face and smiled. For once, I couldn't wait for the next family dinner. 3 weeks earlier, I'd been sitting in my favorite coffee shop, definitely not one of Claire's, when Ray O'Connor walked into my life. I was reviewing my monthly sales figures, trying to ignore the latest text from Claire, bragging about her new cafe location. Excuse me, a voice said. Is this seat taken? I looked up to find a sharp-dressed woman in her mid-40s, gesturing to the chair across from me. The cafe was nearly empty, which made her choice curious. I'm Ray, she said, sitting down without waiting for my response. And you're Nicole Ford, the owner of Pure Intentions Soap Company. I instinctively closed my laptop. How do you... I make it my business to know about promising local enterprises, she said, pulling out a business card, especially ones that have doubled their revenue in the past year, despite having 0 outside investment. My heart skipped. Those weren't public numbers. Don't worry, Ray smiled. I'm not here to steal your formula for that lavender dream soap everyone's raving about. I'm here because we share a common interest, which is Clarity Cafes. Ray's eyes sparkled. More specifically, its owner, Claire Walsh. Your sister, right? I started packing my things. I don't discuss family business with strangers. What if I told you Claire's empire isn't as solid as she pretends? Ray placed a folder on the table. 3 of her 5 locations are underperforming. She's overleveraged. And her latest expansion was funded with high-interest loans. I stopped moving. How do you know all this? I'm an investor who specializes in acquiring struggling businesses. Claire's been refusing my calls, but the numbers don't lie. She's 2 bad quarters away from serious trouble. My phone buzzed. Another text from Claire. Just saw your soaps at that little market. Cute display. Almost looks professional. I turned back to Ray. I'm listening. That meeting led to weekly strategy sessions. Ray taught me about business acquisition, leveraged buyouts, and the art of timing. I learned more in those 3 weeks than I had in 3 years of running my own company. Your sister's biggest weakness, Ray said during our latest meeting, is her ego. She's so focused on expansion that she's ignored the cracks in her foundation. Just like when we were kids, I muttered. Always had to have the biggest and best of everything. The difference is, now you have the power to do something about it. Ray slid another folder across the table. The paperwork's ready. 1 signature, and Clarity Cafes becomes yours. Mine, well, technically, it'll be owned by our investment group, but you'll be the majority shareholder. Claire won't know until it's done. I thought about Jace. About the countless times Claire had dismissed his proud descriptions of my business at family gatherings, about Mom's constant comparisons, about the night Claire told me I was brave for trying to run a business as a single mother, but maybe I should think smaller. What's the catch? I asked Ray. No catch. I get a healthy return on investment, and you get, she paused, smiling. Let's call it karmic justice. My phone lit up with another message from Claire. Don't forget dinner next week. Try to wear something business appropriate for once. I picked up the pen Ray offered. Where do I sign? Mom, we're going to be late, Jace called from downstairs while I frantically searched for my other heel. Today was crucial. I had the final meeting with Ray's investment team, followed by a massive soap order delivery to our newest hotel client. Coming, honey. I hopped down the stairs, shoe in hand. Did you pack your science project? Yes, and Aunt Claire texted. She wants to know if we're coming to Brianna's dance recital tonight. I stopped mid-stride. That's tonight? She said, and I quote, "It's not like Nicole has any real business meetings anyway." My son's perfect imitation of Claire's condescending tone made me laugh despite myself. Well, Aunt Claire's in for a surprise soon enough. The investment firm's office buzzed with activity when we arrived. Ray met us in the lobby, giving Jace a high five. Ready to see your mom become a coffee queen? As long as I still get to be her soap prince, he grinned. Ray led us to the conference room, but stopped short at the door. We have a problem. Marcus, one of our key investors, is having second thoughts. My stomach dropped. What? Why? He's worried about potential family fallout. Says it might generate bad press. Inside the conference room, a gray-haired man in an expensive suit was shaking his head. It's too messy. Family businesses are complicated enough without hostile takeovers between sisters. It's not hostile. I stepped forward. It's business. Claire taught me that herself. My phone buzzed. A text from Claire. Brianna's really hoping to see her favorite aunt tonight. Unless you're too busy playing with bubbles. I showed the message to Marcus. This is who we're dealing with. She's not just failing at business. She's failing her own daughter. Brianna deserves better, and so do Claire's employees. Marcus studied me for a long moment. You're not doing this just for revenge? Revenge would be letting her business fail completely. I want to save it, just not with her at the helm. He nodded slowly. All right, let's do this. 2 hours later, I was directing delivery drivers at the Grand Plaza Hotel, while Ray handled the final paperwork. The hotel's manager inspected our soaps with a critical eye. These are exceptional, she said, sniffing a bar of citrus sage. Hard to believe you're just a small operation. Before I could respond, my phone rang. Brianna, Aunt Nicole, are you coming tonight? Mom's being, well, Mom. Wouldn't miss it, sweetheart. Save me a seat? Thanks. She paused. Mom's showing everyone her magazine feature again. Says it's important to celebrate real success. I caught my reflection in the hotel's marble wall, me, in my business suit, surrounded by boxes of my products, in a luxury hotel. Don't worry, Bree. Tonight's performance isn't the only surprise in store. As I hung up, Ray's message appeared. It's done. Paperwork filed. Clarity Cafes is yours. I looked at Jace, who was charming the hotel staff with his knowledge of essential oils. Hey, buddy, ready to go watch Brianna dance? He grinned. Are you going to tell Aunt Claire tonight? No, I smiled, thinking of the next family dinner. Some things are worth waiting for. You're seriously not going to tell her. Lindsay sprawled across my couch, helping me label bottles for tomorrow's fundraiser. I mean, the suspense is killing me, and I'm not even involved. Not yet, I said, double-checking the event details. The local business association's charity gala was tomorrow, and both Claire and I were showcasing our products. Everything has to be perfect. Speaking of perfect, Lindsay nodded toward my phone. Claire's posted another humble brag on Instagram. I glanced at the screen. Claire standing in her newest cafe location. Caption reading, "Another day, another success story. Some people dream, others do. Clarity never stops. Your business queen." Mom? Jace called from the kitchen. Aunt Claire just texted. She wants to know if we're using her cafe's coffee for the gift baskets tomorrow. Tell her we've got it covered, I called back, sharing a knowing look with Lindsay. The fundraiser venue was packed the next evening. I'd arranged my display carefully. Gift baskets featuring my most popular soaps, each paired with local products, including coffee from Claire's biggest competitor. Nice setup, Claire's voice carried across the room as she approached. Very crafty, though I notice you didn't use Clarity coffee. Didn't want to impose, I smiled. Besides, I heard you were having supply issues at some locations. Claire's perfect smile faltered for a split second. What are you talking about? Oh, just something I heard. I arranged a basket while watching her from the corner of my eye. How's the new location doing? Wonderfully, she snapped. In fact, Claire, Mom appeared, camera in hand. The newspaper wants a photo of you with the mayor. Nicole, maybe step aside? I started to move, but Brianna grabbed my arm. Aunt Nicole, stay. Mom, her display is part of the shot too. Claire's eyes narrowed. Honey, this is a business photo. We should focus on real entrepreneurs. The mayor, who'd been examining one of my gift baskets, looked up. Actually, I'd love to include both sisters. Nicole, I heard the Grand Plaza just picked up your product line. That's quite an achievement. Claire's face went through several expressions before settling on her media smile. Of course, my little sister is finding her way. After the photos, Lindsay appeared with 2 glasses of wine. Did you see Claire's face when the mayor mentioned the Grand Plaza? Priceless. Just wait. I took a sip. Ray's team finished the final audit today. Claire's about to learn that success isn't just about appearances. Speaking of appearances, Lindsay nodded toward the entrance. Isn't that Claire's banker? I watched as Claire's smile disappeared during their conversation. She gripped her phone, probably checking her accounts. Mom? Brianna approached my display. Something's wrong with Mom. She's acting weird. She's probably just tired, sweetie. No, it's different. She's been making lots of phone calls lately, looking worried. Brianna picked up one of my soap bars. Not like you. You seem happier lately. I hugged my niece, watching Claire pace near her display. Sometimes things have to fall apart before they can get better. Nicole, Claire's voice cut through the crowd. We need to talk, now. I squeezed Brianna's shoulder. Duty calls. Why don't you help Jace hand out samples? Walking toward my sister, I felt surprisingly calm. The real storm was still coming. And this time, I wasn't the one who needed to worry. Have you noticed anything strange at my cafes lately? Claire cornered me in the venue's hallway, her perfectly manicured nails drumming against her phone. Can't say I have, I replied. keeping my voice neutral. I usually get my coffee elsewhere. Someone's been asking questions, looking at my books, my bankers being weird. And now 3 of my suppliers are demanding payment up front. She stepped closer. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you? Before I could answer, Ray's familiar figure appeared at the end of the hall. Claire didn't know her, but I still held my breath. Nicole, Ray called out, playing her part perfectly. Just the person I wanted to see. Do you have a moment to discuss the hotel chain expansion? Claire's eyes darted between us. Hotel chain expansion. Oh, I'm sorry. Ray extended her hand. Ray O'Connor, Platinum Investments. Your sister's products are causing quite a stir in the luxury hospitality sector. I watched Claire's face transition from suspicion to disbelief. Nicole's soaps? Among other things, Ray smiled. She has quite the business mind. Now, Nicole, about that meeting tomorrow. Actually, I cut in. Can we reschedule? I have a family dinner tomorrow night. Of course, success is important, but family comes first, right? Ray's eyes twinkled as she walked away. Claire grabbed my arm. Since when are you meeting with investment firms? Since my little hobby became a real business. I gently removed her hand. Surprised. She faltered. I didn't think you were serious about all this. My phone buzzed. A message from Ray. Final paperwork cleared. You're officially the owner of Clarity Cafes. Announcement goes public in 3 days. You know, Claire, I said, pocketing my phone. You've spent so much time telling me what I can't do. You never noticed what I was actually doing. Is that what this is about? You're trying to prove something? Jace appeared around the corner. Mom, the mayor wants more samples of the Lavender Dream soap. Coming, honey. I turned back to Claire. No, sis, I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm just succeeding. You taught me how, remember. I left her standing there, her perfect composure finally cracking. At the display, Lindsay was already packaging more samples. Claire looks like she swallowed a lemon, she whispered. What happened? Let's just say tomorrow's dinner is going to be interesting. Later that night, as I tucked Jace into bed, he asked, Mom, are you nervous about telling Aunt Claire? I sat on the edge of his bed. A little. Why? Because you're doing that thing where you fold and refold all the towels. I laughed, caught in the act. Maybe I am nervous, but sometimes doing the right thing is scary. Is this the right thing? I thought about Claire's face in the hallway, about Brianna's quiet unhappiness, about all the years of subtle put-downs and dismissals. I think it is, honey. Sometimes people need to learn that their actions have consequences. My phone lit up with a text from Mom. Claire's acting strange. Says you're up to something. Please don't cause drama at dinner tomorrow. I smiled, thinking of the documents safely stored in my briefcase. No drama, Mom. Just business. Jace yawned. Just like Aunt Claire always says, right? Exactly. I kissed his forehead. Just business. Mom's house smelled like pot roast and tension when we arrived. Claire's Mercedes was already parked outside, and I could hear her voice carrying through the open windows. I'm telling you, Mom, something's not right. My investors aren't returning calls, and Nicole's suddenly meeting with. The door creaked as Jace and I stepped in. Claire fell silent, her wine glass freezing halfway to her lips. Nicole, Mom hurried over, and my favorite grandson. Claire was just telling me about some business troubles. Were you? I set down the dessert we'd brought. That's surprising, given how successful Clarity is. Claire's husband, Julian, looked up from his phone. Speaking of success, did anyone see the business section today? There's rumors about a major local acquisition. Really? I busied myself arranging the pie. How interesting. Brianna, help your aunt set the table, Claire commanded, but Brianna was already helping Jace unpack the pie plates. Mom's been super weird all day, Brianna whispered to me. She made 3 different outfits changes and kept checking her phone. Dinner started quietly enough. Mom talked about her garden club, Julian discussed golf, and Claire barely touched her food. Every time I reached for something, I could feel her watching me. So Nicole, Claire finally spoke, her voice tight. Tell us more about your new investment partners. Mom beamed. Investment partners. Nicole, you didn't mention anything. Oh, it's nothing really. I smiled at Claire. Just expanding my little hobby into something more substantial. Substantial? Claire's fork clattered against her plate. Since when do you know anything about substantial business dealings? Claire, Mom scolded. Your sister's doing well. You should be supportive. Supportive? Claire laughed sharply. Like she's being supportive by sending corporate spies into my cafes. I haven't sent anyone anywhere, I said calmly, reaching for my briefcase. But since you brought it up, Nicole, Claire's voice held a warning. What did you do? I pulled out the folder Ray had given me. What you taught me to do. Make smart business moves. The table fell silent as I slid the documents across to Claire. Her hands shook as she opened the folder. What is this? She whispered, then louder. What is this? Acquisition papers, I said. As of this morning, I own controlling interest in Clarity Cafes. Mom's water glass tipped over. Julian finally put down his phone. Brianna's mouth fell open. This is a joke. Claire stood up, papers scattering. This isn't possible. You don't have the business acumen? I finished for her. Funny how someone can surprise you when you're too busy looking down on them to look out for yourself. Mom, Brianna's voice was quiet. Is this why the suppliers were calling? Claire whirled on her daughter. You knew about that. I hear everything, Mom. I've been trying to tell you for months that things weren't right, but you were too busy being successful to listen. Everyone, please. Mom stood up. Let's calm down. And calm down. Claire's voice rose. My little sister just stabbed me in the back, and you want me to calm down? I stayed seated, watching her unravel. No, Claire, I just beat you at your own game. The silence that followed was deafening. Then Claire grabbed her purse and headed for the door. This isn't over. Actually, I called after her. It is. Report to the main office tomorrow at 9. We need to discuss the transition of leadership. The door slammed so hard, the windows rattled. Claire, please sit down, I said, the next morning, trying to keep my voice steady, as my sister paced Ray's office like a caged tiger. We need to discuss the transition plan. Transition plan. She spun to face me. You really think I'm just going to hand over my company? Our company now, Ray corrected from behind the desk. And you don't have a choice. The paperwork is final. Claire collapsed into a chair, her perfect posture finally breaking. How? How did you even manage this? You left yourself vulnerable, I explained. Overextended. Too focused on expansion without solidifying your foundation. Just like you've always been. What's that supposed to mean? It means you were so busy building your empire, you didn't notice it was crumbling. Your employees are unhappy, your daughter is miserable, and your books are a mess. Don't you dare bring Brianna into this. Mom! Brianna's voice came from the doorway. We all turned to see her standing there, still in her school uniform. Brianna, Claire stood up. What are you doing here? You should be in class. I asked her to come, I said. She deserves to be part of this conversation. Brianna stepped into the office. Is it true? Are we losing everything? No, honey, I answered, before Claire could speak. Nobody's losing anything. The cafes will continue operating, just under new management. You mean under you? Claire spat. Actually, I pulled out another folder. I was thinking more along the lines of a family partnership, with Brianna as the junior partner. The room fell silent. Claire's mouth opened and closed without sound. What? Brianna whispered. You've been working at the cafes since you were 14, I said. You know the business better than anyone. The employees trust you, and unlike your mother, you actually listen to people. This is ridiculous, Claire found her voice. She's 16. I'm also the only one who noticed our flagship location was losing money. Brianna shot back. I tried to tell you, Mom, for months, but you were too busy doing magazine interviews. Claire sank back into her chair. I was building something for you. No, Brianna's voice cracked. You were building something for yourself. Aunt Nicole is the only one who ever asked what I wanted. Ray cleared her throat. The partnership agreement is drawn up. Brianna would start training immediately, learning both the business and leadership sides. Claire, you'd stay on as a consultant during the transition. And if I refuse? Then you walk away with nothing, I said quietly. The choice is yours. Claire looked at her daughter, really looked at her, maybe for the first time in years. You want this, Bree? I want us to be a family again, Mom. A real one, not just a business empire. The silence stretched for what felt like hours. Finally, Claire reached for the papers. One condition, she said, pen hovering over the signature line. We keep the name, Clarity. Already planned on it, I smiled. Though we might add, and family to it. As Claire signed, Brianna moved to stand beside her mother's chair. I watched them, remembering two little girls who once shared everything, before success and rivalry got in the way. Well, Ray stood up, gathering the papers. Shall we go meet your employees? Together. Claire looked at me, then at her daughter. Something in her eyes had changed. Together, she agreed. Maybe, I thought, watching them walk out, this was the real victory all along. The morning sun streamed through the windows of Clarity and Family's flagship cafe as I arranged a display of my soaps next to the coffee counter. The scent of fresh coffee and lavender mingled in the air, a combination that had become our signature. Those new eucalyptus bars are selling faster than the coffee, Brianna said, bringing me a latte. Mom's actually impressed, though she's trying not to show it. Speaking of your mom, I glanced around. Where is she? In the office, practicing her speech for the grand reopening. The bell chimed as Jace burst through the door, followed by Mom, carrying a huge arrangement of flowers. The other locations reported in. Jace announced proudly, waving his tablet, all showing profit this quarter. That's because someone actually listens to the store managers now. Claire appeared from the back office, her heels clicking on the hardwood floor. She looked different these days, still polished, but somehow softer. The press is starting to arrive, Lindsay called from the door. Ready for the big reveal? I caught Claire's eye. Ready if you are, sis. She straightened my collar, an old habit she hadn't quite broken. Just, don't outshine me too much in the photos this time. Wouldn't dream of it. The cafe filled quickly with reporters, customers, and family. Julian actually put down his phone long enough to help arrange chairs. Mom fluttered around, telling anyone who would listen how proud she was of both her daughters. Claire stepped up to the microphone first. A month ago, I thought I was losing everything. What I didn't realize was that I was gaining something much more valuable, perspective, and a real partnership with my sister and daughter. She turned to me, and for the first time in years, her smile was genuine. Nicole? I joined her at the podium. When I took over Clarity, people assumed it was about revenge. But standing here today, I can tell you it was about family. About remembering that true success isn't just about profits, it's about people. And soap, Jace called out, making everyone laugh. And soap, I agreed. Today, we're not just celebrating a business merger. We're celebrating a family that found its way back to each other. Brianna appeared between us, holding up a new coffee cup, featuring both our logos, introducing our signature drink, the Sisterhood Blend, served with a complimentary artisanal soap. Later, as the crowd mingled and cameras flashed, Claire pulled me aside. I've been meaning to ask, that day at the fundraiser, when everything started falling apart, did you know then what was coming? Yes, I admitted. Did you mean what you said that day about my business being just a hobby? No, she sighed. I was scared. You were succeeding on your own terms, and I was failing on mine. I just couldn't admit it. Well, I handed her a coffee cup. Looks like we both had something to learn. Mom, Jace called out. Aunt Claire, Brianna's showing the reporters her new recipes. We watched our kids proudly presenting their ideas to the crowd. Brianna's innovative coffee blends, Jace's essential oil combinations. They're going to outshine us both, aren't they? Claire mused. Probably, I laughed. But this time, we'll celebrate their success together. Together, she agreed, clinking her cup against mine. And Nicole? I'm sorry it took all this for me to see you clearly. Well, I smiled. They don't call it clarity for nothing.